This is Harold Esche, and Harold Esche's a real live client, which is a novel concept. This isn't just Shay code rambling
I'll move so you know that I'm live.
This is not a blow-up sort of a guy here. So Harold, maybe you can introduce yourself as to who you are and what your role is.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Harold Esche. I'm the CIO at the University of Calgary, and we are actually driving. This is not in a stage, so I'll make sure Shay keeps his eye on the road while we do this little interview.
So I was explaining to you that I've been recording before about the environment, and from our perspective at Xerox, that it's important and customers seem interested in this topic, but that's just me blathering on. So I was wondering if you could, for the benefit of whoever's going to watch this, give your perspective on, is the environment an important topic for clients, and if so, why, and what are the kind of things that you're thinking about as a leader in IT kind of doing about it?
Okay, sure. So definitely it's an important topic. I think it's been an important topic for probably a whole number of years, but I actually think in the last little while it's starting to gain some traction in terms of really influencing decisions in purchasing and decisions in terms of architecture and directions. And so green IT is an important topic and an important area for CIOs to be looking at. And actually quite interestingly, if I look at my last week, I probably spent about a solid day, 7 or 8 hours, talking about green IT things, attending green IT type events. And neither of those events were sparsely attended. They had a whole number of CIOs there. So I think that's probably one of the first signs for me that it's not just me thinking about it, it's not just a few other people talking about it, that there seemed to be kind of a groundswell of interest. We've had environment and social conscious, those kinds of things on our list of things that we need to look at with respect to procurement. To be quite frank, I'm not sure how we've really pulled those into decision making in the past. The decision making often is around purely the functionality and the dollars. And despite the fact that the green issues are becoming more and more important, I think the fiscal piece is still a really important element, and I think there's a lot to be said for trying to use the green IT and the greening of greening directions to be combined with fiscal issues, and maybe we can use some of the green things to reduce our costs. The wonderful example always in the data center, so maybe I could consolidate my servers and pay less money to run my services, virtual machines, those kinds of things. But I think there's lots of other opportunities too.
If you can combine cost savings, fiscal issues with the environment, it's pretty powerful one-two punch.
And you can make it a slam dunk. So if I can do this whatever project based on a fiscal analysis, and as well meet some of the green needs and quite frankly some of the things that are harder to measure. So if I say do server consolidation and I'm going to reduce the amount of power consumption and reduce the carbon footprint, all great. A little hard to measure. I mean, if I say I saved 4 tons of carbon, was that a good thing for us to do? Yes. Was that worth whatever expenditure might have had? Who knows? We're not really set at this time to equate that back to the fiscal. But if it made sense from a pure fiscal perspective, less power consumption cost me less money, fewer servers, have spent less on the environmentals in my data center. It all makes a lot of sense. It's all a good thing to do. But it goes way beyond the data center. It's not just the bits and the hardware. It's a nice place to start, a nice obvious spot to start. But when we started this whole project with Xerox, one of the drivers for us was a reduction in the amount of paper that we used at the university. And again, real fiscal aspect to it, but certainly an environmental aspect to it as well, saying we just don't feel comfortable with the number of sheets of paper we're printing here at the institution. How can we, first of all, understand the number of sheets of paper we're printing, which we did through this project, and then how do we reduce the number of pages per person on an ongoing basis.
Right. So what was interesting just in the piece that you said there is this whole idea of measurement, and I know that's one thing that we've started to talk to you about, is how can we work with you to measure footprint. So can you just give us a bit of context around green IT and the importance of that, and where you think that's going to go, say, over the next 1, 3, 5 years?
So right now I don't think we're actually doing a good job of all around measuring the CO2 footprint of any of our technology. other than in a very crude way. We in some instances know how much power we're consuming, but back to the data center example, we don't even know how much power we consume in the data center at this particular time. We've not been measuring it. So the first step is going to be to get some kind of benchmark and measure and understand where we are. In terms of the project that we have with Xerox and our project, it's called Project Imagine, one of the things I think we need to do is benchmark our consumption. Consumption of paper we've benchmarked, but we haven't benchmarked the consumption of the power and all the other environmental things that are part of the project. But I think it's absolutely critical that we figure out some way to get some kind of benchmark. How will we know if we're doing anything better other than subjective measures right now? We need to have some real objective, measurable things that we can year by year or whatever period of time figure out what has the change been.
Awesome. With Harold Esche.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jay.
All right.
Yeah,
awesome.
Take